Hi friends, this is our 18th essay in our series that is of superstition. As you can see, the main points, first one is, it's better to have no opinion about God than to have an unworthy opinion about God. Better to have no opinion. Point one, better to have no opinion about God than unworthy opinion. Unworthy, that is not worthy of God. Unworthy opinion about God. Better to have no opinion than to have an unworthy opinion about God. If you don't have, say if you have no opinion, you call it unbelief, isn't it? But if you have an unworthy opinion, that is contumely. Contumely means using abusive language. No belief, that is what you call it is atheism, isn't it? Atheism. But if you have contumely, and that is, contumely is, of course, as we have seen, it is an unworthy opinion, abusive language. Abusive language. You are using abusive language against God. Contumely means unworthy opinion. Plutarch, he gives example of Plutarch. Plutarch, the Greek philosopher, biographer, who is famous for his parallel lives. Parallel lives means life of Romans, noble Romans, and comparative study of noble Romans and noble Greeks. It is parallel lives, For example, one such study is the Roman Pompey and the Spartan Aegislaus, King Aegislaus. So there he says, it is better, Plutarch says, it is better to say that there existed no such a person as Plutarch than to say that Plutarch was a person who used to eat his children as soon as they are born. See, like that there is such a belief about Saturn. So that is actually an abusive language. And you say certain gods are there and they eat their children and so on. That is abusive language. So it's better to have no opinion at all about God. That's what he says. Now, if you have that's contumely, for example, is greater towards, it is an attack on God. Wrong opinion is an attack on God and also equally dangerous to men. If you have a wrong opinion about God, third point, a wrong opinion about God equally harmful to men and God. Men and God. In a way, what is the way in which you can harm God, you cannot harm God, that's another thing, is by spreading this kind of bad opinion about God. So it's better not to have it. And then the fourth point is about atheism. No belief in God. If you have no belief in God, then what will happen? Your moral sphere, your mind will search for moral laws, natural piety. Understand? And then you will have got a belief in nature as a God. Pantheism, Wordsworth's idea of God in every created thing. Pantheism, you can see. Your rationality sense, the moral laws, philosophy and so on. So, atheism actually makes you free in a way. That's what he says. So you will go natural piety. Natural piety, that is this religious or you are a leaning, a sense or a desire for leaning to a higher authority. Higher power is inbuilt in man. So that will automatically express itself. That is natural piety, he says. And of course also it should lead you to love of your fellow man. These are the, in a way, advantages of atheism. Or you can say, this is how you become a moral person without religion. A moral without religion. That is atheism according to Francis Bacon. Understand? Superstition, next one is that superstition is absolute opinion. Absolute, you can see now people who practice or people who have become victims of superstition, that they are 100% sure about, not sugar, sure about what they believe. It is like that. So superstition is absolute belief. They are so firm in that you cannot shake their belief at all. And that is a problem. Because toward the end of the second says there is a superstition avoiding superstition. So that is again another level of superstition it will take you to. Understand? Then the next point is state and atheism. Atheism never disturbed states, disturbed civil life. Civil life. Now he says, example for that he says is the Rome of Augustus Caesar. There's a period of atheism in Rome, so peaceful. There was great development of art and literature. We say Dryden's, Pope's and Dr. Samuel Johnson's age as a age of the Augustan age, we say. Augustan age. Why? Because in that day there was peace and there was great growth of art and literature. So that is that's example that he gives is that. Understand? Superstition on the other hand creates confusion in the mind of people. And next one is, who are the masters of superstition? Creators. Who creates superstition? Men. So what happens? Wiser men follow them. Wiser men follow. Foolish people, they create superstitions and then wiser men follow them. You can see histories, if you go to your neighbor, we can see them. People who think holding very high offices, they become victims of the superstition. Simply put, it is followers of ardent followers of God-men. So that is God-men. So that is actually superstition. There's no doubt about that. And that's what people say. And this is what that is general opinion. I cannot say it's my opinion, but that is general opinion. In papers, in TV and so on, you might have come across number of God-men being taken away, arrested by police and put in prison and so on. If there is nothing wrong, then why should the police take an action like that? That means it is wrong. No doubt about that, isn't it? That way I am making the remark. Must. So the wiser men follow. And the next point is, 8th point is, the Council of Trent. That is a council, a synod called by Pope Paul III. It was held in Trento, in northern Italy. The main purpose of that council was like Council, Vatican Council, Vatican I, Vatican II, you know. So it's like this a council. Means the coming together of a meeting, a gathering of official meeting or official gathering of the prelates of the church. Prelates means officials of the church, cardinals, bishops and so on, theologians and so on. So the Council of Trent for two reasons. One, there are many dogmas they produce, but the two very important point according to what we find in this essay is that first one is to, it was a counter-reformation. Counter-reformation, 16th centuries. That was the time the Council of Trent was held, and that was the time of Reformation, Renaissance and Reformation. So, Luther, I protest, and they started the Protestant church and so on. So that is Reformation, the church, and they wanted to, the prelates, the official church, the traditional church, was totally against this Protestant movement, and so to counter that, they called this, the agenda, one of the main, you understand the main agenda was to counter the Reformation that was triggered by Protestant groups led by Luther and his followers. Now, second one was, there was a belief that the universe was geocentric. But actually, Pope Copernicus, not Pope Copernicus and Galileo proved that it's not the universe is not geocentric, but it is heliocentric. Heliocentric means sun-centered, not earth-centered. But the church traditionally believed that the universe is geocentric or earth-centered. And even after proving this fact, that is by Copernicus and later by Galileo, Copernicus in his revolutions and Galileo in his dialogues, so proved that it's not like that. But they wanted to establish the fact that church did not want to change that opinion. So they took the help of schoolmen, philosophers and scholars of those days. They are called the schoolmen, Middle Ages and early Renaissance period. Such people were called the schoolmen. Schoolmen means they were immersed in the philosophy of Aristotle and also theology of those days. So they took the help of the schoolmen to prove and establish that Copernicus was wrong and the earth is, so the universe is actually the solar system, so to say, is centered not on sun but on earth. So that is, so it was a wrong belief, wrong tradition, wrong belief. But the church at that time wanted, later on it corrected, that's a different thing. And church at that time wanted that prove that these astronomers, that is Copernicus and Galileo, they were wrong. So that was the second important point, or the reason why the Council of Trent was held in Trentos in northern Italy, and that's why it is called Council of Trent. If council is held in Vatican, it is Council of Vatican, like that. It's Council of Trent. So two reasons, many reasons, but two important reasons as far as that we get from this essay of superstition is one, as counter-reformation, two, to establish the wrong practices of the church, and they created new theories, schoolmen created new theories, new strategies, see? And then new axioms like eccentric and epicycle and so on. We will see more of this when we come to the essay. And the next point is, ninth point is causes of superstition. Causes of superstition, half a dozen plus causes Bacon gives. First one is pleasing and sensual rituals and ceremonies. Superstitions and superstitious practices are pleasing and sensual and appealing to your senses, like fragrance, smell, flowers, and decorations, lighting, and all those things you will find. Now, the chanting of mantras and so on. Then second is excess of outward pharisaical holiness. Excess of outward Pharisees. Pharisaical is adjective from Pharisees. Pharisees were notorious for their legalism. Legalism means they used to follow each letter of the law, not the spirit of the law. So that's again another point. Excess outward Pharisaical holiness, to show that standing like this, or moving, lifting your hands like this. So these are excessive show of outward holiness. That is overgreat reverence of traditions. There are certain traditions that so we are born into certain traditions. As Emily Durkheim, the American sociologist, has said, these traditions are sui generis. Means they are themselves, they are very powerful. You cannot, they are beyond the human power. Beyond human power. That means they have got their own existence. Humans are slaves to these kind of practices. That's what Emily Durkheim has said. So, overgrade reverence of tradition. And third is stratagems of prelates for their own ends, ambition. Prelates means officials of the church and officials of any religion can. Now that is their plans, strategies, small strategies to influence people and collect money. Selling of relics, for example, that kind of. Or selling of pardon. If there is a pardoner, the friar, the monk and so on, in the monastic satire, we will find in Chaucer's Prologue to Canterbury Tales. As we have seen, you might have read, they used to all hoot from Rome. So they came fresh from Rome. For what? They have got some pardons and sell to the people and collect money. So that kind of thing. The superstition, nothing but nothing other than that. Then you find the forming of too much good intention, favouring. Good intentions. Suppose somebody goes to an official of a religion and said that you have been married for 20 years, no children. Then they will say, oh, okay, in that case you do such and such thing, then this will happen. Intention is good, but the means that we do not know. Taking aims at divine matters. That's another. So if you go to a person like this, somebody who has got power, you will say, see, we have got power with us. God men are like that. We can do, if we do certain things here on earth, God will be pleased and you will be favored. And lastly, he says, barbarous and disaster, time of disaster and calamities. Barbarous times. Suppose there is a war between nations, or there is a tsunami, or earthquake and so on. And the superstitious people will say that if you do this, you can be saved. Definitely, they will. People selling superstition. So these are the causes of superstition. One, pleasing and sensual rites. Second, excess of outward pharisaical holiness. Third, overreach reverence of traditions. Fourth, strategies of officials of religion to collect money. 5, favouring of good intentions. 6, taking aim at divine matters by humans. And 7, barbarous times, then calamities and disasters. The people will do anything, isn't it? Suppose somebody tells you that if you do this for 30 days, you will get a job. Definitely you will do it. There's no reason behind it. Because as you have seen, superstition, you cannot explain why. But people will never leave it. Once you fall a victim to a superstition, it will be very difficult for you to get rid of that. And then he says, the next point is that causes of superstition we have seen, and 10th point is superstition as such is a deformed thing. Deformed. It's a deformed thing. Deformed means he compares it like this, like healthy meat. A group of bacteria, for example, or one or two will do, can spoil that meat, and the meat will become corrupt. Like that, superstitious practices can cause corruption of a religion, good practices of religion. And he said this deformed in the sense that he gives a comparison. It's like putting the makeup of a man on an ape. The ape will look like a deformed human being. So superstitions are like that. The last point is that it is difficult to, last but one, there is a superstition in avoiding superstition. So, avoiding superstition itself is superstition is itself a superstition. I think it's clear not superstition, because once you are in, very difficult. I told you, I think you know this, the problem with the Yahoo. isn't it? Rahu. When people will wait for Rahu to pass by, they will not start any business or any venture at that time. Marriage, reception also. Rahu, this time, Rahu time. So let Rahu pass by. That's a superstition. What is that? Actually, it's a superstition. But you will not, nobody will avoid that superstition. So avoiding superstition means as not avoiding superstition itself is a superstition. Listen. If we cannot get rid of this fear of Rahu, that itself is superstition. Already you have it, and you are not getting rid of it. Then that it becomes a compound or a complex matter. You got the point? Yes. And then last point is that you have to, if anybody wants purging a religion, purging a religion. Purging a religion of superstition, one has to be very careful, because when men purge something, what will happen is good things also will go with bad things. Like people throwing bath water with the baby. That should not happen, you should be careful. So you have got a dozen points here, all the essays will very short. First is, better to have no opinion about God than to have unworthy opinion. Second is, no belief, no opinion in God is atheism. And then, but on the other hand, wrong, unworthy opinion is contumely, that is using of abusive language. Example, we have seen Plutarch and Saturn. Wrong opinion about wrong opinion about God is equally harmful to men and God. Wrong opinion about God is equally harmful to men and God. And then atheism. What atheism can do to a human being? More rational, moral, naturally moral, natural piety. See? Then you have your philosophy. You can hold on to your philosophy. And so on. Then, what is superstition? It is absolute opinion. Atheism never disturbed civil life, as in the case of Rome of Augustus Caesar. And who makes superstition? Men. Fool, he says. Wiser men follow. Next, Council of Trent solved to re-establish the superstitions of the church, traditions of the church. That is, I told you, wrong views of the universe, the solar system as such. Causes of superstition, we have seen rituals, then officials, they collect money, favoring good intentions, then, cheating people is another, selling parents and all those things, I told you already. And to claim that they have power over divinity, and at the time of disaster, calamity and so on. Superstition, that is the fertile ground for superstition to grow. And then you have what superstition is a deformed thing, because it creates, it is just like putting a makeup on monkey for a human being, or healthy meat being corrupted by bacteria. And next one is avoiding superstition itself is a superstition. As I told you about Rahu, and now purging, you have to be careful, because when human beings purge something, then what will happen is that they will also sometimes throw away the good with the bad. So that we should be careful about. This is the outline of the essay. Now we will start reading sentence by sentence and then explain, like as we have been doing. Hope that you are following these explanations and you are getting some benefit out of that. In that case, I humbly request you to like, to share and subscribe. Okay. So before we leave again, today you have speak not in public, gather not in public, wander not in public, entertain not in public, to protect our private life. So if each one protects his private life, he will be protecting that life of the human race. It is time, difficult times. Survival is becoming difficult as every day you will see, you come across the list of people who die here, nearby, and also abroad. So it is each one's duty as a human being. As a human being, it is each one's duty to protect himself and thus protect others. Hope that you are doing it, taking things seriously. So make the best of these times by it is the best of the times and it is the worst of the times. As Charles Dickens opens his novel, A Tale of Two Cities, isn't it? Just like that. Worst of times and best of times. Best of times in the sense that, you can make use of this academic 6 hours, 8 hours, 10 hours. And then constructively use it for inventions, discoveries, or whatever you want to do. Alright? New things and so on. So you can refresh your brain and do exercise, indoor games and so on. I need not tell you this. So hope that you are doing this, spending your time constructively. Bye. Have a nice time. Enjoy your life. Hope that you are all keeping fine. Bye.